What you know, alibis? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It's still Tuesday, December 2nd. We're going to jump into part two, recapping day two of the Brian Walshe trial. When we left off on part one, Nicholas Gurino, he was still on direct exam. On January 1st at 11:37 a.m., that is when the user of the laptop, or AKA Brian, searched for Patrick Kearney, the trash bag killer. The witness did go to that same Wikipedia page that was returned in the search results. For the iPad Mini 6, he made copies of the device. They saved that to their server to load in the forensic software like Celebrite or Axiom. When you get that initial return, it's not in a readable form until it's run through one of these programs because it's encrypted. The devices were returned to Brian after they downloaded the contents of all the electronic devices they took from the house. For the iPad, Brian's Apple ID was on there and it was named Brian's iPad. He said as far as the electronics, they were limited in the dates they were allowed to examine. He ran two separate reports, one from when Brian gave the device to investigators, and the other report was run after the search warrant was granted. The iPad had the same searches as the MacBook. However, those searches originated from the MacBook. So clearly the iPad being signed into his Apple ID, it just populated those search results on both devices. They move on to talk about what he got from the medical examiner's office. He got bags, and in those, one had rugs, and some smaller ones had hair and tissue. He took those to the Maynard Crime Lab. On cross, Lord have mercy, y'all. I would love to be in this courtroom just to watch the jury. They want to talk about the timeline for the search warrant. The defense says you pick the dates and then you go apply for the search warrant. Once you begin the investigation and you learn more information, you can go back and get additional search warrants to look earlier. The witness said the courts will need a specific time frame and he would need to show why he needed that additional time frame. The defense asked, how far does the content on the MacBook go back? The witness doesn't know. The defense says you only asked to go back to Christmas Day 2022. There could have been more information before that. Why didn't you go back further? The witness said he had no information showing that he needed to. They move on to the Pornhub webpage. There were 10 separate results. The cheating wife video. Do you know how it came about? The witness said the website was viewed and that video was selected. The defense says, so you would agree there's no specific search term for cheating wife. The witness says it was not a Google search. It was through the Pornhub website. The video was on the website and Brian clicked it. Defense, there's no indication the terms cheating or wife were used to get to that movie. The witness said he can't see any values put into the website. He can only see values that are put into Google. The defense asked, did you view that movie for your investigation? And the witness is like, nope. Defense says you looked at other stuff. You have no idea what this movie is about, and you don't know how many times prior to December 25th, 2022, that person accessed the website. You don't know how long the person viewed the movie, and the witness is like, yep, 7 minutes. Defense, do you know how long the movie is? The witness said no. Defense, you don't know if the person viewing this is trying to get to their favorite actress. The witness is like, I don't know. Is it fair to say when you open a site like this, it has several selections that populate? The witness says he doesn't go to that website, so he doesn't know. Defense, but it was important to put that in the binder. The witness says with what we knew, yes. Defense, because it has the phrase cheating wife, you said, let's throw that out there. You didn't look to see what the movie was about? No. You didn't take the time to see if the actress in the movie was the actress in the other movie viewed? No. Defense, you can create reports with Celebrite that are restricted by date and term searches, and the witness says yes. Defense, you can search terms relating to messages or search history, and you can specify terms you're looking for. Did you search for terms on the MacBook like divorce? The witness said no. He just looked within the dates he had the search warrant for. Defense, the divorce searches only happened on December 27th. The witness said he doesn't know about anything before the 25th. That search warrant was only granted beginning on December 25th. The defense asked about the time frame this stuff was searched. The witness said around 11 a.m. he thinks, but he would have to look to be sure. Defense points out, but that was only on December 27th, and the witness says yes. The witness looked at some, but not all, of the specific divorce terms that were searched for, and the defense says they could be searching for the topic of how divorce might protect family assets, and the witness agrees. Defense, are you aware Brian and Anna were talking about the sale of one of their properties? And the witness said he saw searches for apartments in D.C., but he doesn't know anything about selling real estate. Are you aware of texts between Brian and Anna between December 25th through the 30th? The witness said there were none in the devices that he looked at. Defense, when you were asked about your review of the MacBook regarding divorce, you weren't aware of the text between them, and the witness says no. He's asked if he saw documents that referenced what state was best regarding fees and the timing of judgment for divorce or protecting family assets. The witness said he looked at these results years ago, and he hasn't since. They move on to talk about typing in search term, and then the browser generates your search results. The defense says sometimes the browser redirects the user thinking the algorithm knows what could be relevant. And did you follow the results of how to dispose of a body? He said he followed a lot of the search terms and what results came up, but he can't say for sure that he followed the trail of the search term how to dispose of a body. The defense says if you entered in how to dispose of a body, the results could be cemetery names or something like that. The witness says he can't say because these results constantly change and it wouldn't be the same as when Brian searched it. Defense says, I didn't ask you that. If you ask how to dispose of a body, the results could be take the body to a cemetery. The witness said he would have to search it to see, but the defense says you didn't. The witness says not for that specific one. Defense, when someone is using specific search terms, sometimes you have to add different search terms that might be more helpful, like adding murder to how to dispose of a body to get more specific information you might be looking for. The witness says he can't say, and the defense points out you didn't do that, and the witness said it's been years. Defense, you would agree your review of the MacBook data you extracted that all these dark search terms you were asked about on direct only occurred after 4:52 a.m. on January 1st? The witness said from what he was able to see, yes. Defense asked, when you say able to see, what do you mean? The witness again points out he only had data going back to December 25th. These search results were from January 1st and 2nd. Defense, if you wanted to see if these searches were done prior to December 25th, you could have, but you didn't. The witness said he would need probable cause. The defense says no probable cause to go to the court to say, I have reason to believe someone may have been trying to learn how to dispose of a body prior to January 1st. And the witness says that's correct. Defense, in all the data you looked at, you saw nothing from December 25th of searches of how to dispose of a body, searches about DNA, or how to get rid of blood, or using hydrogen peroxide to get rid of blood, and the witness says correct. Again, he asks if he could have gone back and applied for earlier dates. At this point, the state objects, and that's sustained. He's asked, did you see a search for a man named William Fausto? The witness says yes, and that was prior to January 1st. He's asked if he recalls talking to the Commonwealth about these searches, and he doesn't remember. Defense, you never wrote a report summarizing what you found on the MacBook? The witness said he takes those reports directly from the software so that he doesn't make mistakes transcribing from one to the other. Defense points out the report is 1,034 pages long, and it contains many entries referred to as records. He asks, how many records were there in total? The witness says 3,677. Defense, out of those 3,677 records, can you tell the jury how many of those are relevant to your investigation? The witness can't say. Defense, can you give an estimate? No. The defense says you would agree it's a relatively small amount that has relevance to this case, and the witness is like, no, not a small amount. The defense asks how many do. The witness said, I would be guessing, but I would say a good portion. Defense asks, what's a good portion? Witness says he doesn't know, he would be guessing. And that was the end of cross. So again, I'm very well aware the defense attorney has very, very little to work with. The Google searches alone are so bad for his client. But to try and say that you have searches that we just went over in the last episode that are all about dismembering, disposing of a body, how to hide a murder, how to clean up blood. Can we just say it's a relatively small amount compared to all the records? I mean, really, y'all? All it takes is a few searches that totally implicate you in the murder of your wife. And that's all that matters, even out of a million. If you have two searches like that on very specific dates at very specific times, such as just a few hours after she was last seen alive, it's bad for your client. So, tomorrow morning, first thing, the witness will be on redirect. And then the Commonwealth expects to call keeper of records for Uber, Lyft, and JetBlue. They plan to call a canine officer, an officer from the U.S. Border Patrol, other officers. Aside from the keeper of records, these other witnesses will take over a day to get through. So, we're going to keep on rolling tomorrow. Don't forget, 9 a.m. sharp, you can come watch live with the Alibiers on my YouTube page. I'll post that link on my socials. You don't do social media, just go straight to the YouTube page and click the live tab up top. That'll bring you right to us. Tomorrow, after the lunch break, I'll do that first recap of the morning session. Tomorrow's part 2 might be later in the evening because I have to take my daughter to watch her boyfriend wrestle at the high school. And I'm actually looking forward to getting out of the house, but we'll get part 2 done at some point tomorrow night. That is it for today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you soon.